Welcome to the fantasy draft room. I am Chase, and with me, as always, my man Cody. This is round 3 and 4 of the Shane P. Hallam mock. So, we are doing a mock draft of a mock draft with landing spots. So, we have an idea of where these guys landed. And if you missed the first 2 rounds, please go check out that video. It is in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And let us know how crazy some of these picks are. So if you want to know rounds 1 and 2, go back, check those out. You'll hear our explanations as to why. So round 3, you are kicking things off here at the 301. Who are you taking after I just took Tank Bigsby?
Yeah, we're going to be starting off the 301 here. We're going to bring you over to the board just for a quick overview of where we left off from the last video in case you're not watching them back to forth. You took a 2-day break or a 1-day break, however long it takes us for it to put these out. But we're here again, and now we're looking at the guys who are off the board, striked out, and then the guys who are left looking good and clean here. At the quarterback position, we've got Hendon Hooker and a bunch of guys who probably don't matter. Running back position, Sean Tucker, Izzy, Kenny, Chase Brown. Wide receiver, we still got guys in the second round here. Only took 2 guys from the second round, Cedric Tillman and Tyler Scott. Just 2 guys who main ones in a crowded wide receiver room with the Chargers, and Tyler Scott we just did not see do well at the combine this weekend. Tight end, but we are still going with the 1.75 tight end premium. We're carrying that one over from last one in case you did miss it. Again, go back and watch it. It's well worth the watch. Go there, then come here. We'll still be here. Don't worry. The video is not going to be deleted. You're fine. But this is where I'm going to start going into it, kicking it off with the 301. And I've got 2 guys in mind. This is either going to be, for me, the top running back that I would still have on my board here, or the top wide receiver. And it's going to be difficult because I have seen the wide receiver rise up a little bit, but the running back for me, I just haven't seen enough for me to knock him for any reason. I'm still going to go with Sean Tucker here going in the 3rd round of the Minnesota Vikings. Think he is going to be the Dalvin Cook replacement, be on the field with him for this year 1. Sean Tucker to the Minnesota Vikings in the 3rd round, 87th overall will be my first pick at the 301 slot.
If any of you have been following the fantasy draft room here for the last few months, you know that I love Sean Tucker. I was really, really high on him coming into the year. Unfortunately, he had a disappointing season at Syracuse. He did not test at the combine either. He did not run a 40, which this was his time to shine. So that was super disappointing for me. But hey, 3rd round draft capital to the Vikings. I do not blame you at all. Maybe he's going to take some workload off of Dalvin Cook. Now you leave me with the opportunity to take someone that I feel like is a good landing spot. Someone I was actually, I don't say high on, I was intrigued by mid-season, and that's going to be Ced Tillman going here to the Chargers. I really did. I really thought after the first few games, it looked like he was the better of the 2 Tennessee wide receivers over Jalen Hyatt. Obviously gets injured, out for the rest of the season. That impacted things for him. But I really liked what I saw. And obviously Jalen Hyatt thrived afterwards. So it wasn't like he was overshadowing him. But I feel like he could also be a very good wide receiver slipping here into the 2nd round, going to a good situation where his main competition is going to be Josh Palmer to get on the field. And then you have an aging Keenan Allen who theoretically is on the team still. But even if that is the case, it may only be for a year. So yeah, Ced Tillman here in the 3rd feels pretty good.
Yeah, Ced Tillman was going to be my other pick if I didn't go with Sean Tucker there at the 1st overall. But I've been playing a little bit of a game of chicken with you here. And I don't know if he was even on your radar yet, but
I hope you don't take the guy I'm thinking, because there's been someone I've been kind of playing around.
I've been holding him for a while. I hope it is the guy so I can snipe him off of you. We are playing super flex. It is the quarterback position. He goes to a fantastic spot with the Detroit Lions. All right, didn't take your die. Damn. But Hendon Hooker going to the Detroit Lions. We don't know how long Jared Goff is going to be there. It is one of the most prolific offenses of last year. With Jared Goff there, Hendon Hooker gets to sit there, redshirt for a year, and then possibly take over as the lead back in 2024. I'll be taking Hendon Hooker here at the 303.
Yeah, I like it. I was looking at Hendon Hooker as well, but I was just kind of leaving things be. I wanted to see, he's your guy. You've talked about him all season until he did get hurt. Again, good landing spot. You have a consummate pro with Goff in front of you. So can kind of ease things in and see how things work out, and he'll at least get the chance, right? Like he should theoretically get that opportunity. And we have two Tennessee guys going back to back here in the draft. So looking at the 304, I'm still going to play a game of chicken here. I'm going to see if you're paying attention or not. But we're gonna kind of go with this running back here, and I am going to take Izzy Abanikanda going to Atlanta. And yes, they have another fourth round running back in Tyler Algier. I get it. But they do like to run the football. You have 30, I don't know, 39-year-old now, but no, he's like 32, 32-year-old Cordero Patterson there in Atlanta. They want to run the football. That's what they do. Izzy is fast. Unfortunately, he didn't test. There were a lot of running backs that kind of just stayed away from the 40 time, but I really do want to see what he could do in that Atlanta offense. Not a ton of competition for opportunity.
Yeah, really like Izzy Abanikanda. Would have loved to have seen him run at the combine, but does get to be in a run-heavy offense. We'll see how long Cordell Patterson can keep going out there, trotting out at, like you said, age 32, might be going on 33 this year. I don't know that one off the top of my head, but definitely could use some youth there, even though they do have Tyler Algier. You need another running back there. I think they've already said that they're trying to bring somebody else in already. So Izzy Abanikanda there. Like that one. I don't know why that middle four didn't get crossed out. That's a little bit weird. But anyway, we'll skip past that one in my OCD, and we will take a guy. I was looking around the board as you were saying, maybe I'm not paying attention. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be the guy, but we haven't gone to this position for a while, and he's a little bit further down the board, going down into the fourth. It's a guy that posted a 10 RAS score out of Old Dominion at the combine this weekend. He goes to a spot where the LA Chargers are having a, they didn't really have Gerald Everett was there last year. He seems like he could be on the chopping block this year. I'm going to say that he's still there. I know you're on that position with me, but Zach Kuntz at a 1.75 tight end premium would be my next guy over Tucker Kraft to the Miami Dolphins. Don't really care at this point that he is going in the fourth round anymore. I'm just taking the profile at this point. So Zach Kuntz, Old Dominion. Only watched like one or two games of him, but everything he did there, I mean, he's playing at Old Dominion and he's incredibly athletic. He's going to look good. Hopefully it translates to the league, and hopefully Justin Herbert can find himself a good tight end there.
One of the big things that we all need to realize in fantasy is when it comes to the tight end position, athleticism is important, and then also is opportunity. I don't care if you go in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round. If you have the opportunity to get on the field, that is what I'm looking for. And if Kuntz goes there, they have Gerald Everett currently for one more year, but he is also a cut candidate this offseason. So this is a good spot for him. That was not the guy. I'm done playing chicken here. I know he had a bad combine, but man, Kenny McIntosh going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yep. They have McKinnon as a free agent. I know that McIntosh is not as fast as McKinnon. I'm fully aware of that. We watched him run a 4.6 40. That does not kill his value. He didn't Kyron himself. But here in the third round, being able to take a guy that has opportunity to get on the field, where it's Pacheco, CEH, and then McIntosh, I'm going to take that chance and see if he can get some pass catching work.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely on the radar, would have been my next running back off the board. I think, honestly, I might have waited on him a little bit too far. Looking at a mock that somebody else did. Unfortunately, I don't think that one's going to be on YouTube, but was in there paying attention for the background. I think he slid all the way to the 312 in that one. So it might have been in a little bit of the back of my mind that he could, maybe slide a little bit further for me. But no, I think you're right there, taking Kenny McIntosh off the board. Definitely the best running back still there. And you're going to some... It gets a little bit iffy past this. You're dipping into rounds 5 and crowded backfields for all of these guys with people in front of them. So we'll see what happens there with Kenny. I think he, didn't test well at the combine, but like you said, Jerick McKinnon's really the only competition there anymore. So I think he could step in and be a contributor from day one there in the fourth round. Love the pick. Going over to my pick now. There's two guys that I'm really going between here. They're both going to be at the wide receiver position, and I'm just going to come out and say you can take the other one if you want on your next pick. But it is going to be between Rashee Rice and Marvin Mims here, going to the Packers and the Bucks. The bad thing there, both of these wide receiver rooms look like they're a little bit crowded with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then I'm forgetting his name. It's
Got Watson and
Watson. There we go. Goodness. Watson, Dobbs. You got a couple others there as well. It could be contributors. But because of that, I don't think that wide receiver room is as locked in. So I'm going to go with Rashee Rice in the third round of the Green Bay Packers.
Love it. While you're sitting here on this board, that I'm going to lock in Marvin Mims because I did want Marvin Mims, and obviously getting into this range, couldn't pass it up. The big thing that I looked at here was the fact that Mike Evans is under contract, but after this year, I believe they can cut him and save almost all of his money on the salary cap. So he may be a cap casualty after the season, or even a trade candidate if they find out this team is just not it this year. Because I think after June 1st, he also has limited dead cap space. So we'll see how that all plays out. But Marvin Mims was one of the combine winners. He really looked good, showed off his speed. He weighed in fairly well for what we anticipated. And yeah, while it is crowded year one, being here in the third round, being able to get a guy that potentially could go if he was in a better landing spot, may have actually gone in the second round of this draft. So I have no problem taking Marvin Mims here.
Oh goodness, I'm caught up trying to find my next pick here. This board just turns. I think those were the last two that I really had started to look at, and I had pegged out for where I wanted to take them. Now we're in gross range. I mean, you're looking at some of the guys, and the profiles just aren't as great. But what do you got here as I try to make up my mind?
Yeah, while you're picking this out, I mean, this is really where we're at. This is where you're going to start drawing lines. Again, there's always tiers within a draft of where we find players. Like we have like the 107, we have right around the mid second, like we have a specific one there, and then you have right at the beginning of the third. Like there's different tiers that we start to break out. And for me, this is pretty much it. There are some guys, again, depending on landing spots, that may jump up or drop out, but with this mock, that feels like pretty much it for this tier, and the rest of them are going to just be dart throws based on how you like to dynasty and take kind of some gambles on these players.
Yep. And I found my guy. It's going to be the last running back that comes off here in the fourth round. He's playing behind a guy in Saquon Barkley who just got the tag put on him. So we don't know if they're going to be able to work out a long-term extension yet. And Chase Brown, they definitely need an RB2 there as well to complement Saquon. If they do give him a long-term contract, you want to take some wear and tear off of his tires, make sure he's there for the long run. Chase Brown had a good combine as well. Really like the talent, really like the player. Going there in the fourth isn't great. Behind Saquon, not great. But back of the third round, I'll take some Chase Brown.
Yeah, he was fast. There were some questions about him at the Senior Bowl, whether it was a good week or a bad week. He did have a good combine. He looked like he fit in. He looked like he shouldn't be a fourth round running back, but hey, that's where he ended up. I will then take the backup running back for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's going to be Eric Gray. Again, just taking some dart throws here at the running back position, and I feel like with Gray going to Baltimore, he's going to take over for Gus Edwards, because Gus Edwards is going to be walking this year. Just hoping for some opportunity of touches. They showed that they are willing to give, anywhere between 8 to 13 carries to Gus Edwards, and if he can carve out a role like that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, he would have been my other running back, the next running back off the board for me. Like him going there to the Baltimore Ravens, run heavy system, going to be a part of it, at least in some capacity. Got me up here again, where looking possibly at one maybe two tight ends that I kind of have some interest in here. We'll see when those guys come off the board. I don't think I'm going to go there yet. A couple of running backs that still interest me. We've got one of the smallest guys to ever go to the combine at 5'5" for Deuce Vaughn. I wanted him to be like 5'7" so badly, but just knew it wouldn't happen. Deuce Vaughn, I have no idea where people are going to end up drafting this guy, because he's just such an outlier, just so undersized. And it's incredibly sad, because you put him in the drills right after he measures in, and he looks almost better than like half the field out there. Probably a top 5 running back just in going through drills, but just haven't ever seen the size convert. I'm going to go a little bit off the board here, off the beaten path, and I'm just going to I'm going to go with what I believe is just the best landing spot, the one that people are going to be hyped for. I know he didn't test all that well or what we thought he could be, but I'm still going to go with the guy who or the NFL draft community was very high on beforehand. I'm going to go with Tyler Scott going here to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Damn it. That was going to be my guy. I'm
Yeah.
with you. There's just reaches a point. Yeah, you reach a point where you get the second receiver off the board going to the Kansas City, or not second receiver, a second round wide receiver coming off the board to the Chiefs of all places. I don't care. You're at that point where you're taking dart throws, and that is a damn good dart throw to take. Is any wide receiver that goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, because that receiver room is pretty much an open game.
Yeah, I mean, what, Mecole Hardman replacement? That's kind of what we're profiling him for.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it feels like. So I don't blame you. I like that pick there. Again, we're here at the end of the third round, and I'm just kind of looking around. There's some tight ends that I am interested in. I feel like I have to at this point. I have to at this point. I'm going to take the chance on Tucker Kraft.
Okay.
Love the athletic profile. I really wish it wasn't Miami. Throw him back at the 312.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but he is he's going to be my last pick in the third round here. I don't love it just because of what we've seen with Gesicki, right? Like, again, another athletic guy that just didn't get a whole lot of work. So he might be a better blocker than Gesicki, so that might at least keep him on the field more, and maybe they'll use him in more formations. But hey, dart throw season here, right? Into the third, fourth round. The types of players I look for are tight ends, athletic tight ends that could get opportunity, and then looking at running backs that could crack a lineup. So fits the bill.
Yep. He actually would have been my next pick, and I think that's why I subliminally put him there at the 4-1, because I wanted him at the 4-1, but you did snipe me a little bit there with Tucker Kraft at the 3-12. So I got to go back and find another guy, and there's a couple of my guys on this board here, and I know you already know who they are, so, or at least one of them. So yeah. I'm not going to go there yet, though. I'll see if you take the bait and try to take him a little bit earlier than I think he should be taken. And I'm going to go with, oh man, I'm between two at the running back spot. I'm going to do it. I love him. I don't care that he's undersized. He's an outlier. Give me some Deuce Vaughn. I'm going to go all running backs here for team one. They are going to be loaded at the running back position, especially when Deuce Vaughn becomes the next Austin Ekeler. Let's go.
I didn't think you would take him. He was actually the one I was debating between with Kraft. I was like, I'm going to stay away and see if you avoid Deuce Vaughn here. But yeah, theoretically, it could be the Ekeler replacement in the future. Or if Ekeler goes down, he can step in and take over that exact same role. However, he's not the size of Austin Ekeler. Let's just all keep that in mind. This dude is freaking tiny. I'm pretty sure it was 176 or 178.
5'5", 178, I believe.
Yeah. That's scary. That's scary weight. But hey, yeah, again, dart season. You want to give me some best ball dart throws? That's a best ball dart throw right there that I'll gladly take. I am not going to take the bait on your wide receiver yet. There is another name that I'm going to go for here, and it's another athletic tight end in a situation with an aging tight end. And so I'm going to take Will Mallory from the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me that situation where I don't think that Kelsey's retiring, but Noah Gray did get on the field. And Noah Gray was nothing special. So Noah Gray was getting on the field, getting targets each game. Kelsey, if he does, either have any extended time away, whatever the case may be, if he does retire, Will Mallory could step into a big role with an incredible offense and a great quarterback. So I'm pretty sure I own like all the Chiefs draft picks here this year.
I got Tyler Scott.
You got Scott. That's right. Okay. So no other reasoning than that.
I thought there was a chance I could bait you into the wide receiver position, make you go over there and see if I could save Will Mallory to come back to me, because you're right. He's an athletic Raz guy going to the Chiefs. The tight ends that are already there are nothing special, and they might need some help at the wide receiver position. We saw some of the other tight ends get in there, catch some touchdowns this year. So as a dart throw here in the fourth at tight end position with an old Travis Kelce in front of him, yeah, definitely love a Will Mallory pick, especially if it's any league where I could have a taxi slot. That is a guy that I would immediately put on there and have no hesitations drafting here in the fourth. But now you put me back at it. Do I bait you again? Do I put him back on the board in front of you again? And I'm actually going to do something. Going to do something that's not me at all, because I'm not even going to take the bait. I'm going to leave the bait up there for you, and I'm going to take a different wide receiver. I'm going to take Charlie Jones going to the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, we don't know what their passing game is going to be next year, but they just cut the chosen one, Robbie Anderson. Sounds like D-Hop is going to be on his way out. So all that they have there is Rondale Moore and goodness, I'm blanking on another name here.
Oh, Hollywood.
Blanking on Hollywood. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is disrespectful, sir. Hollywood. I'm sorry. But yes, I do believe that Charlie Jones, a standout from the combine, could be an integral part of an Arizona Cardinals system. We'll see what the passing game is, who they bring as their backup quarterback while Kyler's out, but I do like me some Charlie Jones.
Yeah, I'm good with it. He's a grit guy. He feels like a Hunter Renfrow, again, I don't want to say every single, you know where I'm going here. But yeah, Beasley, Edelman.
First one in, last one
you get,
out.
Yeah, you get where I'm going here. So I do like that. Give me some Charlie Jones. I think I'll take him in the 4th round of drafts here. You left me my guy. I was really, really worried you're going to take the Prince of Princeton, Andre Iosivas. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but it sounded good off the tongue.
Better than the first time.
Go much better than last time. And it's better than my Abanikanda takes. So he went to the Indianapolis Colts here in the 4th round. Again, it's just a dart throw, but he was an athletic freak as well. He had some struggles at the Senior Bowl. That's slightly concerning when you're actually going up against competition. However, him being 6'3", 205, strong dude. He had 19 on the bench press, ran a 4.43. It worked, right? Like, it works. And then he had a nice 4.12 in the short shuttle for that size. I love it. Absolutely love it. And just taking a long dart throw here, and I'm going to leave you your wide receiver so you can have some fun.
Yep, you're going to give me my guy. And I, as I fixed that error there where Keaton Mitchell did not come from the Cincinnati Bengals and then get drafted by East Carolina in this situation, did go to East Carolina, drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, but all the way down at the back end of the 5th round. Not going to go there. I do have to lock in my guy. I can't play chicken with you anymore. A.T. Perry coming out of Wake Forest. I've been talking about him, taking him in Devy drafts that we've been running since back in maybe October, maybe even earlier than that. A.T. Perry's been one of my guys. He's got the size, he's got the frame. It's a type of wide receiver that is lacking in this draft class. He's going here to the Seattle Seahawks. I know they've got a crowded wide receiver room, but I just like the guy. I like the talent. He put up exceptional numbers during his time at Wake. A.T. Perry will be my pick here at the 4-5.
Yeah, I figured that was the case. I knew that one was coming eventually. So wanted to leave him there for you. If you waited one more pick, I was going to have to take him since he is a 3rd round receiver. It makes me look at these other receivers, and I'm usually not the guy that likes to take 3rd round receivers. Like 4th round receivers. Like in this 4th round, I like to go after the running backs that could get opportunity. You just mentioned, Keaton Mitchell going to the Bengals. I think we still got Dwayne McBride on the board. He didn't test either. Like, he's another one I really wanted to see. Like, you hear in the NFL circles, you hear Mel Kiper talking about, Dwayne McBride being a top 4 running back for him or a top 5 running back for him. And it's like, all right, well, let me see it. Let's see what you're all talking about with his pass catching chops and all that. And I don't know. Him going to Tampa makes me a little more intrigued just because it's just Rachaad White. It sounds like, unless, Fournette doesn't get cut. I'm going to go back to the tight end room, and I love Raz tight ends, and it's not a good situation this year because the 49ers still have George Kittle there, but Luke Schoonmaker, he was actually he was a top 5 Raz guy there. He had a 9.75, ended up running a 4.63 40. He's 6'5", 250, big dude, fits that system. He had a nice short shuttle. He's, a little bit agile. So I'm going to be taking me some Luke and just hope for a guy that can get on the field in the future.
All right. Well, I'm glad that I didn't remember what his RAS score was because Sleeper doesn't even have him in their system yet. We do have to get him in the Sleeper system. So I'm going to say that that was a pretty strange pick, and you can get Brenton Strange as your placeholder for Luke Schoonmaker. We're
All
just
right, I'm with it. I'm
we're
with it.
playing for the fun here. This is Luke Schoonmaker. If you're still sticking around for this round at the middle of the fourth, we got Schoonmaker here. Good to hear that he was a top 5 Raz guy, though. I did forget off the top of my head, and with me running both of these things, I couldn't pull him up. So sitting there in the 49ers, I was intrigued with him. I probably would have actually just taken him for the position and being the highest tight end off the board here at the back of this fourth round. But you leave me to go back to the board. I'm going to probably, I don't think we got any other tight ends that are going to be coming off here, fifth round plus guys. I think we're probably tapped out of that position. We do start to see, could you actually take some of these guys with the quarterback rooms? And there's a couple of these guys that could actually see the field year one. I think you got to start putting them into the conversation as well. Got one fifth round guy at the running back room. Got Bryce Ford Wheaton, who apparently a 10 Raz will get you bumped up
I
all the way into the third
know.
round of the Dallas Cowboys. They need help. And I mean, he just looked so bad in the drills, though. And I truthfully don't know anything about his profile other than he put a 10 Raz out there at the combine this weekend. So I think I'm just going to stay away from there for now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that we're going to go here with I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to go with DeWayne McBride. The rushing profile is there. If they do decide to move on from Leonard Fournette at any time, he's not really the model of health either. I forget if we're in the odd or even year for Leonard Fournette's health going through this year, but
This is a good year for Lenny coming up here. So
okay, well, with
hey, if he's
age,
not on the team though, if they cut him, like it's just going to be McBride in the backfield with White. So
oh yeah, he has been designated to potentially be the cut or probably be the cut. So yeah, DeWayne McBride there, he's going to be the hammer workhorse, not the hammer workhorse, but he's going to at least split the backfield, at least have a shot with him and Vaughn as well. Could all kind of just rotate into that backfield. So take the shot with the guy that, some NFL scouts has of like their top 5 running back in the class. So take him here in the fourth and be happy with it.
And I'm glad you did. You scared me that you were going to take the guy that I wanted to take. And Jake Haener going in the fourth round of the Las Vegas Raiders. You know what this tells me? This tells me the Las Vegas Raiders swing and miss. They're not going to get themselves Aaron Rodgers. They might end up bringing in a short term 1 year. Maybe they can get Jimmy G to come in on a short term contract. But I'm going to see if Jake Haener can get on the field at some point with the weapons and things like that. There might be a shot, a long shot that he can step on the field at some point here, because the Raiders do need a long-term solution at quarterback. And I feel like that's just another team with no direction. Them and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just kind of floating around aimlessly. So maybe they'll see what they got in him towards the end of the year, and I can flip him.
Yeah, I mean, if they're rolling out with Stidsham, he's definitely got a shot to step onto the field as soon as week 1, in my opinion. So Jake Haener was definitely probably the quarterback that I'd have on my board here. I'm going to keep going back to the running back room here, though. I think there's still some guys who could step onto the field. Truthfully, don't know too much about him other than he was a producing machine at East Carolina, but going to the Cincinnati Bengals, Mixon, there's rumors about him possibly being cut. Perine, I believe, is also a free agent at this point. We'll see if they bring him back, but I think he could I think he'd be more of like a Perine role. I know they've got a couple of guys, Chris Evans, Travion Williams. People keep holding on to hope for those two guys, but bringing in a new guy, let's see if the rookie can cook. I'll go with Keaton Mitchell out of East Carolina to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, he's little. He's 5'7", 179. So another Deuce Vaughnish type, a couple inches taller though. But he ran a 4.37, so he's fast. Yeah, I again don't know a ton about him. I haven't watched a lot on Keaton Mitchell, so have him knock yourself out.
Yep.
At this point, there's a few names here that I feel like I have a hard time not drafting. And old Kayshon Boutte going to the Denver Broncos here in the fourth round. I think I'm going to take the shot on him here. It's just a dude that he had so much promise and there was so much letdown. And I feel like taking him here at the back of the fourth is just not it. But hey, if it works out, if he can get on the field and if he can catch the football and not look like booty, we're gonna have that pun a lot on this channel.
It's gonna get worn out real quick.
Sorry, everybody. But yeah, there's a chance I can get maybe I can get a third for him. Maybe I can get a late second for him at some point. So I'll take the flip opportunity with Booty.
What he does have is he has the name cachet. And so there's already, there's rumors about Cortland Sutton being shopped right now. And then it's him and Tim Patrick. And, we'll see with Booty. I don't know if he can get back to his sophomore year and how he was producing then in the NFL level, but he's a guy with the name cachet, taking him at the back of the fourth. Can't complain about it. There was a little piece of me that was going to be so happy if we went through a full 4 rounds without having Kayshawn anywhere in the draft, for how wild that would be after going from like top 3 potentially for a lot of people just like a couple weeks ago, still holding on to the hope that he is a top 3 wide receiver in this class. Being outside of the top 4 rounds of an entire rookie draft would just be wild to me. But unfortunately, I mean, it's a good pick. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to try to trash that pick at all. I think it's a very good pick. So I might not have taken him just out of a little bit of spite in my heart, but it's okay. We'll move on. And I'm just going to be straight with you. I'm not taking Bryce Ford Wheaton. I don't care if he's drafted there in the 3rd. That feels like another who was the dart throw the Dallas Cowboys took on last year that just never even got on the field.
Oh, Tolbert.
Jalen
Tolbert. Yeah.
It feels like a Jalen Tolbert that we're just like, if this happens and they don't really bring anybody else of note in, it feels like one of those we're just gonna be like, oh, his RAS score was so good though, he could actually be the guy. We're gonna talk ourselves into it, and it's just gonna be one of these flop picks that shouldn't have ever been as high as people are probably going to take him if this landing spot happens. I'm gonna go back to the running back room though. I'm gonna go with a guy that I actually really liked. I think he had a good combine as well. He's behind a guy who's only playing on a franchise tag as of now. I'm going to go with Evan Hull out of Northwestern to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I'm good with that one too. I mean, again, franchise tag for Jacobs. I don't know how much they will use Hull. They drafted Zamir White last year, and I think he had single-digit touches all season. Yep. So, and I mean like total, not just in a game. Single-digit total all season is what it felt like, and that may not be an exaggeration either. So,
last pick of the draft, man. Where are we going? This is a long, grueling process here.
It has been, and I look at the board. I'm like looking at quarterback. Like I'll pass on Duggan, maybe Jaron Hall with the Vikings. I'm going to skip that position. I've banged out enough tight ends. I think you dried up the running back room. Maybe Deneric Prince. I'm looking at him.
There's one guy that if I had one more pick, I would actually take here pretty. I wouldn't say easily, but just out of like,
I'm taking
what it could be.
I'm taking Xavier Hutchinson here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple other names here as well. That you have Jaden. Like I wouldn't mind if there's a 5th round in a way. Like I'll take some darts on Jaden Reed. Jonathan Mingo is another one. Trey Palmer went to the Dolphins in this scenario, and it's just he's just a burner. Puka Nacua to the Steelers. You got that Steeler bias, right? You got the Steeler bias. So
don't get me started.
But there's some of those types of guys. Who are you thinking of that you'd still be interested in?
I mean, you're saying you can go 5th round. I can add a 5th round.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're good. I don't know how much real life application that would have to most fantasy.
We got like 5 people still watching. No, I'm just kidding.
No, the one that I would like here, if it happened, we saw an injury to the quarterback come this year late in the playoffs. He's playing for the best team, a guy who's already won championships at the collegiate level. Stetson Bennett would be the guy that I just take as the handcuff to Patrick Mahomes. I think he'd be by far my highest waiver wire target if I was actually in this draft here. I've held Chad Henne's and Case Keenum's for a long time because of the possibility of them taking over the Buffalo Bills offense or the Kansas City Chiefs. Chad Henne finally retired this year. Stetson Bennett can go into the Kansas City Chiefs, get groomed there, barring catastrophic injuries that we definitely do not wish on anything. I'm not even don't even put it in the universe, but he's there and he's in a good offense. If you ever needed to step in, Stetson Bennett would be a guy who could easily step in and raise his draft stock pretty easily. It's a situation that I don't see very, it's a situation that you can easily thrive within the offense. I think much like Brock Purdy did whenever he came in with the San Francisco 49ers. I think Stetson Bennett would have to be a guy that I just want to bring up here at the end.
Yeah, the two Rams guys with Deneric Prince going to the Rams, again, running back situation there. It's just pretty much Akers. They got rid of what's his face during the middle of the season. Can't think of him. Memphis.
Darrell Henderson.
Thank you, Darrell Henderson. So they were able to get rid of him. And then the other one is Aiden O'Connell going to the Rams. You mentioned that there's potential rumors of trade talks with old Stafford, and if that does happen, maybe Aiden O'Connell gets. I mean, they've rolled out some dog shit quarterbacks in LA. So if you don't think that it's a possible Aiden O'Connell steps on the field in LA, you are out of your mind. So yeah, I just think it would be again dart shot on his opportunity of starting and then being able to flip him for something else.
Yeah, I think that wraps up. I don't think there's really anybody else to talk about here. I mean, we do have the Miami Dolphins out of Nebraska going to the Miami Dolphins.
I knew that was Trey Palmer, thankfully, because
gotta know that one's Trey Palmer. But I noticed that one. I was like, of course I did it to Chase's guy that I accidentally put it in as Miami Dolphins to Miami Dolphins. But
that's all
no,
right.
unless you got anything here, we'll pull up the board again for anybody who wants to see it. Take your screenshot if you want it. Like, comment, subscribe, comment about who's too high, who's too low, the landing spots you like out of Shane P. Holland's mock. Go check out the rest of that too. It's an incredible mock. Has a lot of fantasy relevant guys here in pretty good landing spots. This is one of the better ones that I think we've actually done. A lot of those PFF ones that we've done before, I don't think we even could have gone 4 rounds in some of those. Those would have been a little bit rough to get this far, but really love this mock. Appreciate him putting it out there so we can use it for our platform here at the Fantasy Draft Room and the mocks that we do here. And unless you got anything else, you can wrap us on out, man.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Make sure you go check out the other video with the explanations of our picks in the first 2 rounds so that you can kind of get some ideas of why some of these guys went higher or lower than expected. But yeah, like, subscribe, and thank you for joining us here in the Fantasy Draft Room.